Oh, I gotta go solo here. Solo.
We hear you.
Tonight on the Mac to the Future Go livecast, lots of updates, mostly labeled 14.1. And man, was this an update? Well, yeah, it was an update. I mean, it says it right here in our show notes. Also, Apple invents music television again. And greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Mac to the Future Livecast Go, or however, I change that like every single week, and I don't know why. But one thing that does not change is Mr. Warren Sklar. No, it's not Warren Sklar. It's David Ginsburg. Why did I say that?
I have no idea why you said that. How's it
but
going?
it was a thing that I said. And that's true. You do the In Touch with iOS podcast.
I do that podcast, yes.
Sooner or later, I will come up with a statement that is true in this show. And that's the first one. And the other, whoops, we just lost Warren. Warren, where did you go, sir? There, I got to put him back. There he is.
What did you do to me?
I didn't do anything. What happened? You just like blooped
out. Your internet went out again.
Now, are you back home?
Yeah, I'm back home. I hit the wrong button. So there you go.
Okay. Oh, so it was my fault then.
It was my fault. I was about to go all crazy on you for calling Dave me. So I went to reach for my keyboard and hit the wrong button. So
okay. Well, you had the chance to go crazy and you blew it.
I did. You just didn't see it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, nobody else did either. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. It's got some news of the weird before we get into the regular stuff. And Warren can relate to this because last year, was it last year or 2 years ago?
That we did the monitor?
And the Mac Mini. You just kind of threw the monitor in.
That was like 4 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay, well, you sold me, it was a quad-core Mac Mini.
You're going to talk about this, so I'm going to berate you again of how easy it was to fix that glass, but go ahead.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter because it's gone. It's gone now.
It's in the trash.
Well, no, it's not in the trash. I recycled it. I recycled it responsibly.
In other words, it's gone.
So let me tell you the backstory real fast on that.
Okay, go ahead.
So that came from I did a service call for somebody, a client.
Yeah.
This was an Apple monitor.
Yeah, well, she had this Mac Mini and she had this Apple monitor. It was a Thunderbolt monitor, 27-inch.
Beautiful.
And it had cracked glass on it. And she's like, want to fix it. And I did. So I went on Amazon, and these are the ones that you could put a suction cup on and pull the monitor glass right off. It was an older Mac or monitor. I pulled the glass off, and then it's held with magnets on the back of the glass that you replace with and sticks right back on. It's like a $20 fix. So that about 3 months comes by and she's like, you know what? I'm buying a whole new computer anyways. And do you want this? And she gave me the Mac and the monitor. And I'm like, sure. She had more money than she knew what to do with. So that's the backstory of how you got the monitor and the Mac.
Okay. Yeah. So I bought the Mac and you just kind of were like, oh, here, have this monitor too. So I was like, okay. So I ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. My brother Bill now has the Mac Mini, because he was on a 2006 or 2007 iMac that was definitely on its last legs.
This was like a 14, I think it was, right? 14 or 15 Mini.
No, it was a 12. It was a late 12. It was the quad core.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It was the quad. I mean, those things still go for like $500-600. Just because it's a quad core Mac Mini, and that was the only one I think they ever made back then. And then I had another Mac Mini. I don't quite remember how I got that one, but I gave that one to a friend of mine who was moving over from Windows. So then I didn't have any Mac Minis, and I just I just had the monitor, the Apple monitor. And then not this morning, a couple days ago, the glass fell again and broke, and it was like, because I was basically using, I don't have it here at the desk. It was this big clamp thing that you can attach a camera to, and I was using that to hold the glass to the top of it, and I'm just tired of dealing with it.
It was a $20 replacement from Amazon. I'm surprised at it.
Well, no, it's okay because for $175, I got a monitor that's disappointing. So it's an Asus HDMI, so it's 1080p, so it's 1920 by whatever the other one is.
1080.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like not the same size as the resolution that I have in the iMac, and the colors are a little weird, but I just installed it today, so I'm going to play with it some more. But it's okay. I'll probably end up replacing this monitor with one that's a little better, and then I'll use this monitor for the new Mac Mini that I just bought last weekend from. It was this guy that I was just kind of looking. In Facebook.
Yeah, I heard your story. I heard your story on the.
Yeah. Well, maybe some people here have not heard the story.
But before you go, Apple does make a new monitor if you're interested in buying that one.
Sure. Yeah. And how much does that one go for?
It's like $5 something.
Oh, which one are you talking about?
The one that's 5000.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The XDR monitor.
Yeah. I want to buy that for my 2012
5000.
It's a 5 something. 5 something.
For that much money, I'll just get a freaking iMac Pro, and somehow connect these two in some weird way. But anyway, Johnny, that was his name, or is his name, Johnny. And you have to say it like that or it doesn't work out well. Johnny. I met him at a Starbucks near to where he lives, and the actual transaction took like 30 seconds to pay him for the Mac Mini. But then we sat around for like 2 hours because he's an audio guy. So, I was like, well, let's talk about microphones and let's talk about, mixers and condensers and just, compressors and all this stuff.
Dave and I are just happy we weren't there.
Yeah. No, it was fun. He's a really nice guy, and
if you like talking about that stuff, go for it.
Yeah. So we had a good time. So, but that took up the majority of the time that we spent together. So, Johnny, thanks, dude. Anyway, we have other stuff to talk about. Quick takes. Oh yeah. No, let's spend the entire time talking about that. In quick takes, the Department of Justice sues Google, saying that they use their dominant market position to freeze out rivals. Say it isn't so.
First off, this is a quick take. I thought when we talked about this yesterday that there's no way in heck that you're not going to make this a main story. So apparently this is a quick take to you.
This is just a quick take. Just a quick take. Well, give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I think I made an example of same thing with Apple when it comes to them worried about having any antitrust issues. So a good example is the fact that now you can change your default browser and you can change your default email app to whatever you want, and they've had a stranglehold on that for years.
Yeah, you're talking in iOS and iPad.
In iOS and iPadOS, right? So you were never able to do that for all this time, and then now in iOS 14 you can. Gave that example only because Apple's starting to loosen things up a little bit because now this hits. And
they kind of have to.
Yeah, because now this hits, and I'm not surprised about the fact that Google, they're going after Google on this. I mean, they are dominant. I mean, in this market, but you got to look at some of the search engines that are out there now. What Bing has 7%. Google is probably 85%.
At least.
And I'm just sorry, I had to laugh at that Facebook user saying, listening to my AirPods Pro, why are you guys copying me? Okay.
Must be
I think you're
first off,
guns.
only Dave and Warren have AirPods Pro. So you said that. So and
no. These are no, hold on. These are AirPod Pros. They are.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised. But this is going to go on in litigation for years and years. That this is not
Yeah.
going to be something that's going to get resolved. I mean, you just look at AT&T back in the old days when they got broken up, when Ma Bell got broken up, how many years that took. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I don't see any resolution for many years.
Probably not. What else we got over here? We got Microsoft adds a way to use your iPhone screen as a monitor for your Xbox. I wanted to be excited about this, but I just can't. And even in the story that I saw about this, they showed like an Xbox controller, and the iPhone was like on top of the Xbox controller, but it's still this little tiny screen as compared to using your Xbox on a great big monitor. And it's like, okay, yay. If that's
if you have an iPad Pro 12.9, it's something, right?
It's a hell of a lot bigger than the Xbox controller.
No, you use a controller to control the game, and you use the iPad
in the picture that they showed, there was basically it was a phone that was on top of the controller. And
right.
it was,
I'm saying replace that phone with a 12.9 inch iPad Pro, and now you have a larger monitor. And when I say to my son, Jacob, come upstairs, with us, he's like, I'm in the middle of a game. Now he could, now if he had a 13-inch tablet, he could bring it upstairs and continue his game.
Yeah, and spend more quality time with the family, because that's what he wants to do.
We don't tell him he has to. When we send him upstairs, we're not telling him he has to interact with us. We just want him out of the basement, so he knows what he needs to do.
It's funny. My wife is always sending me to the basement. It's a thing.
Might be a smell.
Could very well be. Thank you. Apple TV remote app removed from the App Store. However, the same thing is now built into the control center, so it's better. Probably easier to find.
It's the same.
And it's the same. Yeah. I mean, you look at it. It's working the same way.
But do you think that more people will use it now that it's part of Control Center, instead of having to search for an app or have an app that's like front and center?
If they used it before, they're going to go on Google and find out what happened to it, and then it's going to say it's now part of Control Center.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out
them right now.
Well, to 3 people that might want to care about it, but yeah.
No, I use it.
Yeah, no, I use it too. The Control Center that's how I've been doing it.
No, I'm going to use this remote instead. Sorry. This is the one I'm using from now on.
I've got one of those. My big complaint about it is
no Siri.
One thing. Yeah, no Siri. You can't speak into it and do that stuff. Which, my wife is a huge fan of voice control of like everything.
Hello, computer.
Computer. She sends me like these Stephen King like long texts sometimes, and it's kind of like, Jesus, just call me. If you have that much to say, just call me.
Well, now with we'll get to it, but with the 14.1 HomePod update, we might have something going here.
Touch away
with the intercom. The intercom feature instead of that. We'll talk about that. I have questions.
Okay.
I still got to figure it out.
Is something that Dave put in. Well, if you guys can't figure it out, I'm like screwed. Who put that in there?
I had no control.
Warren put that in.
I put that in.
What is that? QB? Was that the name of the app?
Quibi.
Quibi. Yeah. Quibi is dead.
No surprise.
And well, I was surprised because I had no idea what it was until
we talked about
just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about it before. It's a short form video service that only worked on the iPhone at first, and you could turn it to have different views, and it had a few shows that lasted about 5 minutes each or something.
Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman had to put all their marbles into it. It died.
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to those shows now? Are they going to get moved to like YouTube or something? Well, there was
nothing of quality to keep. I mean, it was
maybe they'll end up on TikTok. You never know.
That's like 15 seconds, though, isn't it? Or is that all that those shows are worth?
Who knows?
Well, I've never used the service.
8
I watched
minutes.
it once.
I have no
Dave and I
idea
got
what
it.
the shows were like.
Dave and I got it for free with T-Mobile, and
Yeah,
we still didn't
so-
use it.
And it's still,
And
I
you
still
still
didn't
didn't
use
use it.
No.
Well, that
Well,
says a
what
lot
happened?
about the quality of the shows.
What happened was a pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
they blame it on the pandemic
Right.
because
of course.
the service is supposedly really good for people who are like riding in an elevator and want to watch something, or in the subways, or in a a train, something to do for a few minutes, like the bathroom. But people aren't going anywhere, so
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah,
work
Kevin
out.
Hart even had a short show. John Legend's wife was Christy Teigen. She had a stupid judge show that was so bad.
That's the one I watched the one time, so that
Yeah.
was it. So.
Really? Was it that bad?
No,
It was
no,
all right. It was cute.
Okay.
I mean, whatever.
8 minutes of a judge show. Yeah.
Yeah,
And she would have her husband on every other day, every other episode.
and her mom was a bailiff.
And her mom was the bailiff.
Yeah.
Well, in COVID times, that certainly makes it easier to.
This was
make
before
sure that-
COVID.
No, was it?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
slightly,
Then
yeah.
that really just throws that excuse out the window, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Moving on. Okay, to the main stories: iOS 14-1 and iPad OS 14.1. iOS 14 is out, and if you don't own an iPhone 12, this may be a bit of a meh for you. However, I believe that this is the version of iOS that becomes pre-installed on the iPhone 12.
100%.
You do get HDR playback for video and editing in photos that will be available or supported in the iPhone 8 and up. So it looks to me like this was mostly bug fixes, wasn't it?
Mostly.
I think so.
Yeah, take some of the. Let's take some of these.
the
Addresses an
Shazam
issue
thing.
where
The Shazam thing was before, right? This one, Dave.
Shazam is
I don't see that
14.2. Yeah, 14.2.
But this is 14.1.
Well, we're-
So
yeah, 14.
it's going backwards. So that's right. They added it to the 14.1, but everybody's on 14.2. The main reason they did this is because, well, how's that?
No, it's the other
gonna
way
work?
around. No, everyone's on 14 unless you have a developer account. Everyone right now, if they updated, they're on 14.1.
So
So
it went
there's-
from 14.01.1 to 14.1. Let me give you the backstory on this. 14.1 for some reason got released last week. It was like around Monday, and I'm like, okay, why did this get released? I said, okay, great. I go look, and it doesn't come in over the air. So, and I'm not Warren Spar, by
Damn
the way.
it. I know. It's like I forgot to
Keep
take all
calling me
those
Warren
up.
Spar.
I am not having a
loves
good
me.
StreamYard
He really
day.
misses me.
StreamYard,
He must have really missed you.
StreamYard right now is there's someone right now at StreamYard that is laughing hysterically at me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, 14.1 was it was out for like a minute, and then it got pulled back, and then all of a sudden I go on the developer account.
Excuse me.
A little while later, it says 14.1 GM Golden Master is in there, but you can't install it without you having to hook it up to the music or to the Finder and offload it manually. So what's the point? Who wants to install that on their phone? And even though it is probably a final release of the next version, 14.1, then all of a sudden yesterday they decided to release it to in the wild. So now everybody has it. So we're going under the assumption that this version is going to be the version that will be on the iPhone 12, the 12 and the 12 Pro at this point. Yeah. But it does have some bug fixes, and I was just looking up what was on here. Just a lot of bug fixes, and like I said, the HDR stuff, and just the rest of it's just all bug fixes. Really, is really what was released to it.
So the Shazam isn't on that one yet, then?
No, Shazam is on 14.2,
which is just
now
in beta.
Beta 4.
So nobody has it. So what happened
there is a thing here that says fixes an issue where some emails and mail were sent from an incorrect alias. Now, is that part of them now allowing other email clients?
No.
Could that have been a cause of that?
No.
Or
that's separate? Yeah.
But that same bug that reverts back to the default of a mail and
back.
Safari is back. Yeah.
But there was a thing, I think, with the last major update where people who got a new phone were having problems restoring it because the newer their phones that they had were on a newer version of what came on the new phones. If you remember that. So people had to update their phones to the newest version, then wipe it again to restore the backups from their current phone. Okay. Sorry. So I think that's what they're trying to avoid this time is basically that.
I don't know what Frank's saying, but
No,
we're live on Facebook, so
It's
It's
probably,
looking like it's okay here.
no, we're good. We're good.
it's Frank. All right,
Go on, Bugs.
Okay,
next stories.
bugs.
Same thing with iPad OS 14. Not much else.
I don't really see much anything else there other than bug fixes.
Right, pretty much.
Probably should have picked a different story, like I don't know, DOJ suing Google.
We had,
Who would have figured that would have been a main story?
so we had some good dialogue. We're all good.
Well, the HomePod updates.
HomePod OS.
That's
Yeah,
more
HomePod
important,
OS
I think.
That was
14.1.
big.
Yeah.
Did you wonder if the original HomePod was going to have the intercom feature? Well, you shouldn't have, since Apple said it was
I knew
going
it from
to.
the-
However, it's
I knew
now
right away.
included in this update. So, HomePod Mini, set up and automatically transfer your Apple ID, music, Siri, and Wi-Fi settings to the Mini. There's some Siri stuff in there. Anything you guys see anything super important? Web search requests to HomePod can be sent from HomePod to your phone.
To an iPhone. Yeah. Same with Maps. If you do a Maps.
Siri can now stop alarms, timers, and media across HomePod speakers.
Mhm.
Voice recognition support for podcasts and with multiple users in the home.
Mhm.
Intercom is going to be. This is actually intercom. I think is like the one of the biggest selling features
Well,
of this device.
so just to know, Amazon's done it since like 2
Yeah.
years ago. I've been using it for.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
not the same because I mean, how well did that work going outside of the home? Didn't you have
It
to
didn't.
have?
It didn't work.
Yeah.
It only worked. Well, that's not true. It worked anywhere you had an Amazon
a Wi-Fi
device.
connection?
No, a device, like an Echo thing. So, for instance, when my wife was working in New York City, she had an Amazon device. My beach house also has an Amazon device on the same network. So when I said, Alexa,
A lady.
when I said a lady, announce and made an announcement, that went to New York City and the beach house too, which was cool because I could, my wife, and when she was away in the apartment and my son and I were here, we could, do that with each other. That was kind of neat too. But
Now,
these
was
go
that back and forth, or was that just a one-way conversation?
well, that's what an intercom is. It's same with Siri. It's basically it announces something, then you can announce something back, but it's one way each.
Okay, so it's not really it's sort of a two-way conversation. It just takes longer.
It's a text. It's like a message with voice is basically what it is. You
It's
message
like
back.
a voice text.
So my question is like, so my son has
Yeah.
CarPlay. My son has CarPlay, and it's like, if he's just driving on the road, is somebody is just going to like, Jacob, turn around, whatever? Is it just going to like blow
Take
it
your
out?
hands off her knee.
And it's going to be like, is it going to like scare the hell out of him? How is this going to work? Is it going to be, is it going to alert
She's
you?
after
like,
your money. I don't know.
Run! Well, yeah, like it goes through AirPods too. So if I'm running with my AirPods
The
outside,
call came
am I
from
gonna-
inside the house.
am I going to hear my wife saying, "Come home"? I mean, how is this going to work? Like, seriously, is it going to like say something's coming in? Is something I warn you? I mean, that's
I'm seeing a whole
I
new
don't know.
genre of horror movies just based on this feature alone.
just like somebody on their headphones, like, what's what? Who was that and why? So yeah. Anyways, I tried it out, but I have two HomePods and they're paired together. So when I
Yeah.
tried it out, it didn't work because I guess it can't talk to the other one since they're linked.
Right, I noticed that too with my pair.
And then
So they have to be outside of the network or something?
No, they can't be
or-
they
paired.
can't be paired to each other to
Oh,
you have to
well, how
unbreak
hard
the
is
pair.
it? How do you unpair? How do you unpair them?
It's
move them
easy. I
apart
just
from
didn't
one
feel
another?
like doing it. No, it's
Just go into it
the home app.
into the the home kit and say unpair.
unpair. But I didn't do
Okay,
that.
That's easy enough.
So then I wanted to play with the phone thing. So in order to play with the phone thing with my family, you go into the home settings, and then under family, there's a thing where you could add them to your
It's
iCloud family, and then they get a prompt saying yes, which both my wife and son did not do. So I still can't test this out yet because they haven't done it. But
I wonder why.
They're like, wait a second. Do I want Dad to be able to call me through CarPlay?
Whenever I feel like it.
Yeah.
So I asked my wife, I'm like, why didn't you hit accept? She's like, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, just hit accept. I'm in the middle of the game, whatever. So I haven't tested it yet.
Words with friends.
She plays
it's messages with friends.
Bejeweled.
It's a new thing.
Something with
Bejeweled.
Bejeweled. Yeah, that's what she
What's
plays.
the one with the butterfly? Is that Bejeweled?
I don't know.
There's like these butterflies that go. I don't know. My wife is like obsessed with that game.
She plays something with gems and jewels.
But I thought that any of the home settings you have to have 14.2 in the beta because that's on Mac Stories. Those guys did a story on it, and they had everything configured through using 14.2 the beta.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. But then with your test and my test, it didn't play on our phones on the beta, right? So that's what I found weird too. Is
Right?
did it know it was me? Did it recognize my voice and realize not to broadcast to my phone at that point?
Well, now see, once I get a HomePod, what we'll have to do is sync all of our HomePods together. So
Well,
that
then
wherever
you gotta
we
come.
are.
You got to come on my family account. I'm not letting that happen. So
Yeah.
Oh no, you should totally allow that to happen. Totally. Yeah. What could go wrong, Warren? What could possibly go wrong?
who
There
bought
could be
Star
some-
Trek seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on my iPhone?
No, I would no. You would know that's not me because I would never buy Star
You
Trek
never buy
The
Star
Next
Trek.
Generation season 1. That was
Okay.
a terrible season. I won't watch it.
You might,
If
you might
Riker
watch
doesn't
it just
have a beard,
just to
I
spite me.
don't watch the episode. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna make Warren pay for Star Trek: The Next Generation season
But
1.
I don't want
out
to
of
watch it.
spite.
But now I have to
Spite.
watch it because I bought it.
Oh man.
Oh no.
Okay, so well, I think that's about all we got on that. The last story I've got for tonight. Oh, this is a good one. I like this. Apple invents music television, guys.
Yeah.
I haven't checked that out yet.
Da,
Did you-
da,
Yeah.
da, da,
Dun,
da, da,
dun,
da,
dun,
da,
dun,
da, 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 da,
dun. And we still know the theme music
That's
30
true.
years down the
I should have said
line.
a documentary I just watched on. I forgot what channel that was. I just watched it.
And the
I think we
guy
need-
on the moon with the MTV flag that changes colors back and forth, bringing on epileptic seizures everywhere.
Name 3
it's a
VJs.
channel.
Go. Name three VJs. Go.
Martha Quinn,
Oh, Martha
Mark
Quinn,
Goodwin, and Nina Blackwood.
Adam
Curry.
Curry, yeah,
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 he was,
Adam Curry is the
Podfather.
isn't
he's the
he?
Podfather.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
he had an interesting.
I named the 3 that were the most.
podcast device.
J.J. Jackson,
JJ
Oh
Jackson
yeah,
was the
yeah,
other
yeah.
guy. I used to
and
watch
Alan Hunter.
Alan Hunter. Hey, he got them all.
Yeah, you know
You're
what's
in front-
weird? The second
he's in
the
front of a
second-
computer,
Nobody
though.
can name.
I am
Nobody can
not.
name like the second group of MTV DJs because they were like, we
there
don't
were
care
none.
anymore.
Downtown Julie Brown.
Downtown Julie Brown. There's the other one.
I
Yeah.
got it. Wubba wubba
Well,
wubba.
now for people who don't know what this is, it's a channel that broadcasts
wubba,
music
wubba,
videos
wubba.
From 1980s.
all day, all day and all night. What a concept! Also,
was
you have
great.
no control
Before
over
the
what
internet, we
videos
had to
will
wait
play.
for our videos to come on. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. If there was a video you really like, I mean, you walk in the door, it's like, oh man, I just
Michael Jackson
missed the
Thriller.
Buggles again.
The Buggles,
Oh.
the first video they
Yeah.
ever played.
Very
Weird Al
first one,
TV?
Video killed the radio star.
You ever watched
Look at
Al
that.
TV? That was good.
Al TV was that?
Weird Al TV. It was awesome.
Oh,
Watch
okay.
them.
I thought maybe that had been like
Headbangers
Al
Ball.
Stewart or something. Year of the
Headbangers
Cat.
Ball.
Headbangers
Remote-
Ball.
Remote control.
Remote control in 120
Yeah,
minutes.
and all those jokes from comedians who would only say, "Do you remember when MTV played music?"
Yeah.
That was like,
And
the
then it
big
was
joke.
VH1 that everybody did that.
But all
But-
seriousness, I think Apple's doing this just because they, getting back, just like they're doing the music. They're doing all that. Why not get into the videos? It looks like what they've done is they've not only they've got music videos, they've got interviews, and they're really just trying to enhance what the music app already has. I mean, it's part of your Apple Music subscription. So, but I think this is neat. I'm glad they're doing this. It's either or so the videos are actually live. So I mean, whatever they're playing live, you're able to watch just like watching a channel. So.
What else? This could also. I mean, I don't think they will because I don't know if Apple even wants to get into something like this. but they've started doing like short segments in the news app.
Right.
You know, reading stories there. Why couldn't they do like a half hour back? Do you remember when headline news was 30 minutes long and you actually got
watch it.
the headlines? That was such a great
Not Nancy
show.
Grace with somebody that has been found missing.
Yeah, you know, but it was, and they got away from that, and now it's all opinion all the time.
MTV.
Frankly, I think that there is room for a 24-hour news service that has just headline news, and that's all that they do. They don't go, you know, I mean, you used to, like, back in the old days, Walter Cronkite, David Brinkley, Chet Huntley, whoever the guy was on ABC, because nobody remembers
Harry
him.
Reasoner.
Harry ABC News with Harry Reasoner. They would come out
Max
and
Robinson.
every single night from
Frank Reynolds.
6:30
That's Frank
6:30 to 7 Eastern Standard
Peter
Time.
Jennings. Yeah, that's the one.
Peter Jennings.
Yeah.
Frank Reynolds. Remember Frank Reynolds?
Dan Ruther. They would come out, and in 30 minutes with ads, they would tell you mostly, you know, the most important stories of the day.
They still do
And
this. I
then
watch.
they would go
I
away.
watch. No, well, the ABC World News with Brian. Not
No, it's
Brian.
with,
Brian Jennings.
Muir.
No. Yeah,
David Muir.
David Muir.
David
I watch
Muir.
it every night. It's exactly what you're saying it is. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
Okay.
That show hasn't changed. Peter Jennings was doing it before.
It's
him.
fine. That's
All right,
perfect.
well,
I
I'll have to
watch.
check those
I
out.
watch every night.
That's
ABC
what I want.
News,
I want to
World
be able. I want to be able to turn to a channel and see the headlines within 15, 20 minutes.
NBC Nightly
6:30.
News with Lester Holt.
6:30 ABC. Watch it. You'll be happy.
I will check that out. I will
5:30
check that
Central.
out. Oh, see, now you're just confusing the issue.
I think CBS and NBC also does the same thing at 6:30.
CBS
In
Evening
fact-
News with Nora
that
O'Donnell.
was what they used to do. It was 6:30. You had
still
the
do it.
local news from 6
You just
to
haven't looked.
6:30,
Yeah, they still
and
do
then
this.
you had network news from 6:30 to 7.
Still, and then
They
you got
none of them
Jeopardy.
do it anymore ever.
This is my night every night.
Don't
News,
blow my
can't-
story.
I
They
have
don't
to
do
watch
it anymore.
Jeopardy.
I watch news at 6, the world news at 6:30, Jeopardy at 7, Wheel of
Judge
Fortune at
Wapner.
7:30.
I have to watch Judge Wapner and Jeopardy. Judge Wapner.
Wapner's on at 7:30.
Watch Judge Wapner.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Dave,
I'd
tomorrow we're
I'd
doing
like to buy an F, Alex.
tomorrow we're doing our podcast during the football game. You know that we got to be quick.
Giants?
Playing.
The Giants and Eagles. Gotta watch it.
If you got to bow out, you know, I know your dedication.
The Giants and Eagles.
Yeah, 1 and
It's
5.
like, it's like watching the Washington football team. Meh.
We're all fighting for first place, man.
with 1 and 5 record.
Yeah, 1 and 5
everyone's at 1 and 3.
That entire division is under.
We're all tied
under
up pretty
500.
much right now. Yeah.
It's all 1 and 5.
And somehow or another, the Dolphins actually have a winning season.
They're playing well.
This is a sure sign of the apocalypse, and the Patriots are not doing well. I don't know.
Oh,
They're doing all right.
wah.
I'm just happy the Dolphins are finally winning some games.
The Bears are winning ugly.
And a former Miami quarterback is doing really well in Tennessee.
Oh, Tannehill. They're undefeated.
Yeah. And even when he was Miami's quarterback, it was like, God, I almost said a bad word there. All they needed was, I know this isn't the
an offensive
NFL
line.
show. They needed an offensive line. That's all they needed. Someone who could run block. And for whatever reason, all they kept doing was getting quarterbacks and wide receivers. It
Anyway,
was like, okay. Yeah.
everybody's leaving.
So that's
now.
going to do it. That's going to do it for tonight. So we're going to say goodnight from NFL Live right here.
NFL Live,
the
hey,
Facebook.
put on.
All right.
NFL Live
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the 6 on a 6:30 World News.
6:30
tonight.
to 7 World
The
Headline
6:30
NFL
World
News.
News.
All right. Mr. David, how can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. Warren's back on the show this week. And we got Mr. Jeff Gamet. Frank. We're fighting for a third
Arr.
win.
Yeah, isn't that the Pirates?
And I probably should. Warren, were you watching last night when I made my blunder about Jeff yesterday? You were already gone, so no one knows.
No.
I'm not saying a word.
Tell me after this.
except you
recording.
already did.
I wanna hear it.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I wanna hear
I
it.
didn't say anything. So all right, and
okay.
yeah, in touch with iOS.com and Dave G65 on Twitter.
Okay, Warren.
Yeah, about the same.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it easy. if you'd like to get a hold of me, Guy at mymac.com. The website is, what is the website? vertshark.com with all the audios and the videos. I'm Mac Parrot on Facebook. No, Mac Parrot I am so confused. In Twitter, Mac Parrot and vertshark. If you would like to donate to the awful mess that I am tonight, go to patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. Wilbur.
What are you doing?
And what's the other one? PayPal.me. I'm having a senior moment. PayPal.me/MacParrot. And you can also go on over to the, not the Facebooks. Yeah, well, you can go to the Facebooks and look up VertShark there. You can also go to the YouTubes, look up VertShark there and subscribe and watch those videos. I also do the mymac.com podcast with Gazmaz on the weekends. We just had a fun-filled, freaky show. Occasionally, I drive in my car and do a podcast, which is so weird. And, of course, the Mac to the Future live cast that is usually, I'd say it's usually a little more structured than this, but I think a lot of people might disagree.
Nah.
Yeah. And someone is saying, hey, Guy. Hey, Warren.
Hey, Warren.
We don't know who it is because it's Facebook user.
Facebook
if you
user.
would like to see your
it's,
actual name,
it's Corey Upchurch.
Oh.
Go on over and go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Click OK to let StreamYard display it. And don't try clicking on that.
That's not a clickable link. Sorry.
It's not a clickable link. I'm so very sorry. It is not a
StreamYard needs to
clickable,
update this.
clickable link. Can't even speak. That is going to do it for tonight's show. And what a show it has been. Yes, indeed. Warren, say goodnight.
Good night.
Yeah, Dave, is it a good night for you?
It's a good night and bye-bye.
And it's a good night for me, so we will see you all, hopefully, next week. Right here. On the Mac to the Future livecast. Go.
Bye-bye.
You know, we should have been on Quibi. Quibi? What the hell was the name of the service?
Quibi.
Quibi?
Quibi.
Quibi.
It standard for. It standard for. It had a meaning. It was quick bites. That's what it was.
Well, we could have done quick
Now
bites.
you know.
Yeah,
Well, that's what it's called.
I keep telling people I am like the perfect podcast host because I'm so malleable. I know nothing at all. So you can just feed me facts right into this brain and it'll
lies.
just
We
get
could feed
spewed out
lies.
all over the place.
We'll
No,
feed you
not lies.
We could.
I like to think of them as alternative truths.
Okay.
Mister.
You got it.
Oh, I voted today. Have you guys voted yet?
I dropped my mail-in ballot at the village hall.
We have them filled out. We're going soon.
I went to
I was at the
the
hospital
government
too.
center in here in Virginia and stood in line for about 2 hours.
I had a 5-hour blood infusion today. That was fun.
Yeah, those are always fun.
It's the first time.
That's my idea of a real vacation.
I slept for 5 hours. It was incredible.
Well, I know I will. I'm hoping to. There will be a show next week. I don't know about the week after that because I'm in the process right now of trying to decide whether I'm going to go down to Florida and see some peoples and my brother and his 2 sons. and be socially distant from everyone. And unlike a lot of the people that have gone to Florida, I will not be going to the parks. I will not be in big open crowds. So I'm.
You're not going to go to a super.
Really,
you're not going to a super spreader event.
no, oh my God,
No,
no.
Daytona.
I
Beach?
typically no. Well, I would go to
kids?
the beach depending on what the weather is. But really, if you think about it, surfing is like the ultimate safe contact sport. You're never within 20 feet of anybody else.
Well,
whole
sharks.
Well,
Sharks.
yeah, but I'm not really worried about getting COVID from sharks.
You might wish you got COVID instead of whatever.
Yeah,
they're giving you.
it'd be like,
bit by
oh
a
no,
shark."
it's a shark. He might give me COVID.
I don't care that it's gnawing off my leg, but COVID.
I wasn't using this arm anyway, so yeah. See, oh, we got some comments.
Nope. Last week.
Last week. What?
Last week, what?
Bye
Bye and buy bonds.
Okay.
Vert sharks. Yeah, that's a shark that's like this.
This is entertaining.
That's
All right,
fine.
cut off the stream so Dave can tell me what he did.
Okay,
No,
everyone,
get
thanks for joining us tonight, and
Goodbye.
we will see you all. We'll see you all next week. Sooner or later, I will get the edited version of this out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I wasn't.